Assalamu alaikum students. Today we are going to discuss the topic transport in humans. As we have already discussed transport in plants, now we are going to study transport in humans. We are going to study how the transport of materials take place in case of animals. We will take the example of humans as a general example in order to understand the topic. So, the main thing in human beings which acts as a carrier, which acts as a transporter, is this blood. So, before understanding the procedure of transport, mechanism of transport of different essential elements like oxygen, carbon dioxide, food, hormones, etc., we will first try to understand this blood. We will first try to understand the composition of this blood. We will first try to understand what are the main parts, what are the main components of this blood, of which things this blood is made. So first of all, we will try to understand this topic. So we will study this blood first. Dear students, this blood is made up of three main components. Number one is plasma. Number two is WBCs, RBCs. RBCs, you know, red blood cells. Third component is WBCs, that is white blood cells. Fourth one is platelets. Platelets. So we will try to understand these four components one by one. First of all, let us see what this plasma is. So, dear students, this plasma is the fluid, that very fluid in which all these three components are present. All these three components remain immersed, we may say. इसमें ये तीनों types of cells, ये तीनों cells जो है immersed रहती हैं, float करती रहती हैं. That fluid is called as plasma. It is a colorless fluid. Colorless fluid. 90% of this fluid is made up of water. जो remaining 10% प्लाज्मा का रहता है, that contains these WBCs, RBCs, platelets और कुछ प्रोटीन्स वगैरह इसमें होते हैं, कुछ वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट्स इसमें प्रेजेंट होते हैं, लेकिन 90% of this plasma is made up of water. So, what is this plasma? A fluid matrix in which RBCs, WBCs, platelets remain floating, and it is made up of 90% water, and it is colorless. These are the main pointers you have to remember. The second component, important one, is RBCs. The main motive of our topic is to understand the transport of essential elements. I already mentioned those essential elements. Oxygen is there, carbon dioxide is there, food is there, hormones are there. So we have to understand these things in this context. इसको मद्देनजर रखते हुए हमें ये चीजें समझनी हैं. So that is why these RBCs is important. You have to understand this very well. RBCs, red blood cells. Why are they called as red blood cells? Because a red colored pigment, hemoglobin, is present there. Hemoglobin. We have to understand how these things are carried. So these are the RBCs, those cells which are responsible for carrying off this oxygen and this carbon dioxide. This hemoglobin pigment, it contains iron. This hemoglobin pigment it shows affinity towards this oxygen. That is why this oxygen gets binded with this hemoglobin and it carries this oxygen from wire to wire. You people have already understood that. We have already studied in our previous classes. You might remember that this hemoglobin, these RBCs, red blood cells, carry this oxygen from lungs. It gets binded to this hemoglobin and is transported from lungs to different parts of our body, to each and every part of our body. This is these RBCs which are responsible for carrying oxygen. Similarly, carbon dioxide is collected by these RBCs from different organs, from different cells, and that is transported with this RBC, with this blood. We may say the transporter of our body. It carries. That means RBCs carry both oxygen and carbon dioxide from cells, from lungs to different cells. Oxygen from lungs to different cells, and carbon dioxide from different cells to lungs. And from lungs, that carbon dioxide, that is exhaled from our body in the form of breathing process. Now these RBCs, these red blood cells, are very important. They do not have nucleus. You people have to remember this point. They lack nucleus. They do not possess nucleus. That is why they lack this nucleus. Their lifespan is short. They live only for 4 months approximately. RBCs 4 months तक जिंदा रहती हैं. It is said that जो RBCs होती हैं in our body, almost 1 billion RBCs die every day. But देयर शॉर्टेज नहीं होती है. क्यों नहीं होती है? क्योंकि फोर्थ दिस नंबर, अगर हम 4 से इसको मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे, दैट मीन्स 4 बिलियन RBCs आर प्रिपेयर्ड एवरी डे इन आवर बोन मैरो. जिस रेट पे इनकी डेथ होती है उससे कहीं ज्यादा ये रोज सिंथेसाइज होती हैं, रोज फिर से बनती हैं इन आवर बोन मैरो. दैट इज व्हाई शॉर्टेज हमारे जिस्म में नहीं होती है किसकी? RBCs की. सो दीज मेन पॉइंट्स यू हैव टू रिमेंबर. दे आर यूजुअली राउंड, regular in shape. Now the third component is WBCs, white blood cells. White blood cells are associated with our immune system. They are said to be soldiers of our body. They are protective in function. How they are protective in function? Because it is these these WBCs which protect our body from several types of infections. Some WBCs directly digest the bacteria, the disease causing organisms, and sometimes WBCs secrete some secretions which are called as antibodies. Some antibodies are secreted which kill the foreign bodies, pathogens वगैरह जिनको हम बोलते हैं, उनको ये खत्म करते हैं, kill करते हैं. That is why WBCs जो है protective in function होती है. They are responsible for immunity of our body. These WBCs are nucleated cells. इनमें न्यूक्लियस होता है और इनकी लाइफ ज़्यादा होती है. लेकिन अगर हम बात करें इनकी नंबर की, तो नंबर is quite less as compared to these RBCs. The fourth component is platelets. What are these platelets? Platelets are special parts of cells which are synthesized in our bone marrow. Their main function is coagulation of blood. आप जानते हैं, आपने देखा होगा, you might have observed, whenever we get a cut, whenever we get a wounded or injury किसी किस्म की होती है, तो after some time that जो blood उसकी bleeding होती है वो automatically stop होती है. उस पे वो ऊपर से कवर जैसा बन जाता है. उस क्या लगा? That is because of these platelets. They coagulate the blood, they stop the blood, और वो wound को ऊपर से cover करते हैं, उसको heal करने में help करते हैं these platelets. So we have understood different components of our blood, which is the transporter, which is the carrier of essential elements in our body. तो यही blood जो है, these रेड ब्लड सेल्स एक खास फंक्शन और भी करते हैं जो हमने डाइजेशन में मैंने आपको ऑलरेडी बताया है कि जो हमारी स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइनस में डाइजेस्टेड फूड होता है वो भी ट्रांसफर होता है from small intestines to each and every part of our cell, and in each and every cell, due to the process of respiration, energy is released from that very digested food. वो भी यही RBCs वो काम भी यही करते हैं. तो अब ये प्रोसेस कैसे होती है, कैसे सर्कुलेट होता है ये ब्लड इन आवर बॉडी, that we will study inshallah in our next class. Today we have understood different components of this blood, constitution of this, composition of this blood. Thanks. Have a nice day.